Welcome to Iconic Movie Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing Rocky 3. Alright, so Rocky 3, directed and written by Sylvester Stallone. This is the second time that Sylvester Stallone has directed the Rocky franchise. The first movie was directed by John Avildsen, who also directed The Karate Kid. I'll probably do a review on that one later. But anyways, Rocky 3. Let's get into this. So Rocky 3 takes place 3 years after Rocky defeated Apollo Creed for the championship heavyweight title. And he's defeated 10 challengers, and he's living the dream. He's becoming a famous celebrity that is basically everywhere. He's on the Muppet Show. He's got his own pinball machine. You name it, he's everywhere. He's also doing Visa commercials, etc. This movie, we are actually introduced to the character of Clubber Lang, who this was actually a debut of Mr. T. And back then, he actually used to be the bodyguard for Muhammad Ali, if you want to get some perspective. We are also introduced to Hulk Hogan for the very first time. Hulk Hogan portrays the character Thunder Lips, and I know the first time when I saw this movie, I was mesmerized by this giant that was basically kicking the crap out of Rocky Stallone in the ring. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but there are some very iconic scenes in this movie. This movie is about 99 minutes long. It's action-packed. It's a little bit different pacing than the first two movies. The first movie obviously is about Rocky and being a one-in-a-million shot at getting the title. And Rocky 2 obviously gets married and his wife goes into a coma, and he kind of holds off on the training until she wakes up from the coma, and then she tells him to win, and then that builds up the whole rematch with Rocky against Apollo Creed, and they basically almost kill each other in the ring. That sets us up for Rocky 3. So Mickey ends up protecting Rocky because he knows that rematch with Apollo Creed should have killed him. It didn't. So he protects him by picking fighters that he knows that Rocky can beat. This upsets Rocky later because during a press conference when Rocky wants to retire, Clubber Lang comes out into the crowd and says, "You've been ducking me," and all this kind of stuff, and basically taunts Rocky Balboa. And Rocky is like just floored that this guy would want to challenge him, and then he wants to accept the challenge. Mickey says, "If you do it, you're going to do it without me." And this sets up a few scenes where Rocky tries to later convince Mickey to train him for a match against Clubber Lang. But Mickey wants nothing to do with it because, again, in a famous scene, Mickey tells Rocky that this guy is a wrecking machine. He'll knock you to tomorrow, Rock, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a fantastic movie. Rocky thinks he's on top of the world. Rocky thinks he's the best fighter, and then he realizes that maybe he isn't the best fighter because Mickey's been carrying him. And this sets a whole bunch of emotions. Rocky wants to prove himself to the challenger. He accepts his challenge. Mickey unwillingly decides to train Rocky one last time. Then maybe afterwards they could join a circus. So the contrast, the training scenes in this movie is phenomenal because there's a huge contrast. Clubber Lang is training either at home or in the gym by himself, and he's training hard. Sylvester Stallone is taking it easy. He's riding a bike, and fans are all around. He rented a facility so he can train in style, and that was his motivation is, "Hey, Mickey, let's go out in style if we're going to go out at all." And this just drives Mickey crazy because he keeps wanting him to go back to the gym. where it all started. And Rocky wants nothing to do with it. So, of course, end up getting in a scrap. They go to the ring. Rocky loses his trainer, Mickey, due to an altercation that was unintentional by Clubber Lang, but it happened. He shoved Mickey, and Mickey ends up having a heart attack later and dying. And this disturbs Rocky because he has to go to the ring without his trainer. He doesn't know he's dying yet, but he still has to fight. So that sets up an amazing fight sequence. Rocky, for this movie, I know I'm jumping all over this place, but it's kind of off the cuff too. So, but Sylvester Stallone actually trained 2 hours a day with weights, and then his diet consisted of 10 egg whites a day and a piece of toast. So he actually cut his weight down to 2.8% body fat, and he dropped down to 155 pounds, if you can believe that. In the movie, he's portrayed as weighing at first 201 pounds, and then later in his rematch with Clubber Lang, he weighs 191 pounds. In reality, he was down to about 155 pounds, which is amazing because he looks like he's freaking huge in the movie. And in Rocky IV, obviously, he's even bigger. But the music in this, I believe it was Survivor who wrote Eye of the Tiger. Rocky acquired the song for his training sequence near the beginning of the movie, and that movie took off. Everybody listened to Eye of the Tiger. It was probably Survivor's #1 hit. Anyways, this movie is fantastic. I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. I think it's the best movie. Obviously, Rocky Balboa, the latest release, is pretty good. Creed is fantastic. But I thought for action, for basically being entertained, there's nothing better. Like, you can watch this over and over again. And I've watched it several times. The entire cast is phenomenal in this. You got Carl Weathers, who reprises his role, of course, as Apollo Creed. Mr. T, like I mentioned. You got Burt Young, who plays Paulie. You got Meredith Burgess, who plays Mickey. You got Talia Shire, who returns to play her role as Rocky's wife, and she was also known as she played a few roles in The Godfather. So, great cast. Tony Burton, of course, is Apollo Creed's assistant trainer that helps him out, but Tony Burton has a bigger role in Rocky IV and also Rocky Balboa because he ends up training Rocky Balboa. So there you go. If I'm missing someone, I apologize for that again. This is a phenomenal movie. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I probably watch it a few times a year. So there you go. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you've seen this movie, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay iconic.